Joining me now is author and political commentator Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
Hello and happy Thursday. Thank you for joining Shaking My Head with Shemeka Michelle. I am your host, Shemeka Michelle. And today I am really shaking my head. Today is September 11th, and for Americans, this is a day that has heavy meaning. We remember exactly where we were when the towers fell. We remember exactly what we were doing. I remember watching the second plane hit, watching the people jump to their deaths out of the building. I remember watching the towers fall. I also remember that for a brief time, the nation felt united. Very, very brief time, but I remember that. And today on the anniversary, many of us feel like we are facing another 9/11. Another 9/11 moment. Yesterday, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And I know we're supposed to be talking about things that pertain to our everyday lives, but I felt like this actually does. And I thought to myself, how can I honor Charlie Kirk, acknowledge the victims of 9/11, and make this personal? Make this everyday life. Because I can tell you, it left a lot of us angry, grieving, and with a bunch of hard questions. For those of you who may be living under a rock, Charlie Kirk was the founder of Turning Point USA. He spoke to young people, traveled the country, and he wasn't afraid to stand on his beliefs, even if people deemed them controversial. While he was speaking in Utah, a shot was fired, striking him in the neck. He died from that bullet. Investigators are still working to uncover exactly what happened and who is responsible. But what we know for sure is this: Charlie Kirk was killed for speaking his mind. And that hits home for me. That made it very personal for me. Now, I'm not on Charlie Kirk's level or wasn't on Charlie Kirk's level, but as someone who would kiss my kids, say to my family, see you later, and went all around the country speaking and standing on what I believe, I'll tell you, never once did it cross my mind that someone would want me dead because of my ideas. It never crossed my mind that I could be kissing my kids goodbye for the last time. I honestly was more concerned with what I was going to say, maybe how the people received it. Even after someone tried to attack me in Dallas, I even had the understanding that people would get very emotional, maybe a bit irrational. 2 weeks ago, like Charlie Kirk, I sat at a debate table in New York. First, we spoke, and then we did the debate table portion. It was our very own Prove Me Wrong. While I was speaking prior to the debate table, someone threw a glass bottle at me. You know, I expect that type of stuff. We've been yelled at, called losers, called bigots, had people stick up their middle fingers. So I expect people to be a bit overly emotional. But to think that somebody could actually want me dead just never crossed my mind. And one of the things I will say that's really irritating me, now the online trolls, I don't know, y'all. I've been online for a long time. So I'm used to y'all saying all types of foolishness. It just is what it is. It's like if you can't stand the heat out here in the real world, get back in the kitchen. I'm used to the people online that don't know me, that have never had interaction with me, that has never eaten at my dinner table, that has never talked on the phone with me or been able to pick up the phone and call me. But you know what is flooring me? The people that do know me, do know what I do, and know what I believe in, who are actually cheering on Charlie's death. Now, I wasn't a faithful follower of Charlie Kirk. I don't know every single thought he had. So I'm sure I didn't agree with every single thought he had. No one agrees with everybody or anybody 100% of the time. But I would go out on a limb to say 85% of what Charlie believed, I believe. I know he was pro-life. He was pro-marriage. He was pro-Second Amendment. He was pro-freedom of speech. Charlie held traditional values. Charlie was a Christian man. He was a Bible believer. So at least 85 to 90% of what Charlie believed, I believe. So when I see people who have the intellectual ability of a sponge online celebrating this man's death, it lets me know real clear how you feel about me. And I don't want to hear, oh, he was a Nazi. That's propaganda. That's bullshit. Those are lies that the left push because it knows, the people on the left, the elites, know that many of you are so ignorant that you don't do any type of research. You just, they say he a Nazi. He's a Nazi. They say he's a racist. He's a racist. Oh, they say he's a white supremacist. But when it comes to actual facts, Many of you have no idea what you're talking about. And if you have texted me, called me, sat at my table, had a conversation with me, stayed under my roof, some of you, been in my presence, I taught you to dance, taught you how to twirl a baton, taught you to sing a little note, me, taught you to sing a little note, celebrating this man's death. I know exactly how you feel about me. So that means, in my mind, you want me dead. Or if I went out here and that happened to me, you would be sitting somewhere saying, that's karma. It's karma. It's karma. Well, let me ask you something holier than thou's. Why hasn't karma come to knock on your door in fornication? Why hasn't karma come to knock on your door in adultery? Why hasn't karma come to knock on your door, drunkards and dope fiends? Where's the karma in that? Because a lot of y'all walking around talking about it's karma. With a whole lot of skeletons in the closet. So many skeletons, they falling out, bones everywhere. Because what we did not have was a man who was actively involved in something that you would just say, you're taking a risk. If I was a police officer and I died in the line of duty, yes, that would be horrible. But people would actually be able to say, that's kind of the risk, you take as a police officer. If I was a drug dealer, people would say, well, you're out here dealing drugs. That's a chance you take. Gang member, it's a chance you take. KKK member, it's a chance you take. Sitting at a table with the open invitation for someone to prove you wrong with words, with thought, that's not a chance. That should never be, people don't know how to just have civil debate. Because I grew up in a time when sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So all of you intellectual midgets, you short bus riders who feel like someone needs to die because of words, don't call me ever again. Don't text me. Don't send me a DM, not even a joke about something else. If that's your train of thought, fuck you. And I'm so serious. And I get the whole, you got to spread the message. I get that. I'm going to still stand on what I believe. This hasn't struck fear in my heart to the point where I'm going to shut up and be quiet and not do what I know God has put me on earth to do. But I'm saying for all of y'all celebrating this, that grin in my face, don't try it ever again. Because at some point, we have to say enough is enough. As I said before, I'm not the trolls online that don't know me. Do what you do. But for those of you who know me, have relationship with me, And I'm not going to go online and be looking, oh, who said what? Did somebody say what? I'm a lot more popular than you are. So I'm pretty sure this word is going to get back much faster. I'm telling you, go to hell. And I have been wrestling, trying to grasp this thing for a long time. For like 7, 8 years, I have been crying loud, sparing not. Pro-life, pro-school choice, pro-Second Amendment, pro-First Amendment. Really telling people you can be and do what you put your mind to. Of course, in the boundaries of the word, the Bible, because I don't think a man can become a woman. I've been very clear about that. So I'm not so much, I know you can be what you want to be. I'm not that far. There are some boundaries. But it's not a message of hate. And I understand that sometimes the truth, when it's uncomfortable, can be labeled as hate. But it's not hate. Wanting to see babies live and not be annihilated in the womb is not hate. Not wanting children to undergo gender reassignment surgery, that's not hate. Wanting closed borders is not hate. Wanting people to be able to walk down the street without getting knocked over the head is not hate. Wanting us in the so-called Black community to stop killing each other and not saying, oh, well, white people kill each other too, because we just saw this yesterday. We know that happens. Well, we don't know who the killer is, but, we know that happens. People die by who is in close proximity to them. We understand that. But saying, hey, we need to get it together. There's too much violence in the inner cities. That's not hate. Wanting our kids to be able to read and do math is not hate. And you know what is just flooring me even more? And when I say we have to talk about the division, I have a pinned tweet or post on my X account talking about a friend of mine. We have been friends since we were young girls. Grew up in the same church, played in the same neighborhood. High school, college, went to the same high school and college. Friends, real friends. We have dealt with the death of loved ones together. We have dealt with infidelity in our marriages together. We have dealt with love, heartbreak, and loss, heartache together. I'm talking about holding hands. I'm talking about being on the phone till the sun comes up. Laughing together, crying together. This isn't just a random person. I'm talking about someone who knows me. Sang in the church choir together. Had Bible study together. Because of this red hat, all of a sudden, didn't know if she could hold space for me in her life. That's some pseudo psychobabble bullshit. After everything that we've been through together, because you wanted to vote for Kamala and I wanted to vote for Donald Trump, you didn't know how to hold space for me in your life. You ain't have no problem holding space for me in your life when you found out your husband had eyes for me. We held hands through that. I would never do you like that. I'm not interested. Work on your marriage. Do whatever you need to do. You want to stay, stay. I'm going to support you. You want to leave, leave. I'm going to support you. When I say we held hands through the toughest of times and the insanity of political division could cause her to not know if she could hold space for me in her life is crazy. To watch that same insane division yesterday is ridiculous. To see y'all cheering and applauding is ridiculous. It's demonic. And I had a conversation with her because I was so taken aback. We have been friends for decades. And for me, it's fine. We on different sides of the aisle. You want women killing their kids? I disagree. But okay. You don't see nothing wrong with a 15-year-old having her breasts removed because she thinks she's a boy? I disagree, but okay. You don't think people should be able to have freedom of speech? I disagree, but okay. We've been through much worse, and I loved you anyway. Because in my eyes, remember, I said we grew up in the church together, sung in the choir together, went to Bible study together, did vacation Bible school together. So in my eyes, I'm on the right side of this. I'm on the side that our grandparents taught us to be on. Because everything we learned, we were both raised in the home with our grandmothers. So everything we learned, to me, I was on the right side. But okay, we can just, we don't have to see every single thing eye to eye. We don't have to be on the same page on every single thing. But you mean to tell me that voting for a woman, an Indian woman that y'all call black, whatever, and me voting for a white man was the straw that broke the camel's back? That was the line. That was the line too far. That's insanity. You have to be insane. So the division that we are seeing, it's insanity. I'll go as far as to say it's demonic. Again, I said I was raised in the church. So when I'm seeing women not have a problem killing a full-grown baby. I don't care that it's in the womb. Don't tell me it's a fetus. Because I got some cookie dough in my refrigerator right now. Those are cookies. They put them in the oven. They got to bake a little bit. But I don't want somebody coming in my house tossing them in the trash. Tossing them in the trash, that's money spent. Those are still cookies to me. So a child is still a child to me. And in my eyes, a lot of y'all still need to be celebrating Mother's Day. Your kid's just dead. So for me, it's insanity. I don't understand. And people are saying, oh, well, Charlie Kirk had something to say about George Floyd or about slavery. Again, I don't think people were saying George Floyd deserved to die. What they were saying is he put himself in a position that wasn't on the up and up. He was high. That was the debate. Did fentanyl kill him, or was it actually Derek Chauvin's knee? There was some debate about that. Having that conversation is just conversation. It's debate. But nobody says someone deserved to die. Because none of us are walking around here spotless and blameless. I saw someone today say, Karma, who is suffering with cancer. So is it karma that you have cancer? I lost someone I know 2 days ago to what they think was possibly a heart attack. Was that karma? Y'all say some of the dumbest shit. Lives just dirty. Nobody is walking around spot free and blameless. There's always going to be words exchanged. Again, go back to being children. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words should never hurt, and they definitely should not kill. This is foolishness. Mothers not speaking to children, children wanting to ostracize themselves from fathers and mothers because they disagree politically, siblings not speaking, friends falling apart, husbands and wives divorcing. But I'm telling you, for me, if you're celebrating this, you do not care about me. I'm talking about the people that know me. Don't roll up. Don't. I'm shaking the dust off my feet. Now, if God come and say something else, I'll do a 180. I'll about face. As for now, you want to draw a line in the sand? I'm going to go on and fill it in with concrete. Let's go on and make that line permanent. because you're showing me who you are. Ain't no need of me going out here putting my life on the line and something happening, you coming in my funeral, hugging my kids. No, I'm going to go on and cut it off right now. You have shown me for real, you don't have any morals. You don't have any values. You're talking about empathy. Well, he don't empathize with somebody in a skirt, a man in a skirt. He don't empathize with the woman that was sleeping around and got pregnant and wanted to have the right to go have an abortion. He don't empathize with that. Yeah, I don't empathize with that stuff either. Don't mean I want you dead. It's a lot of things I don't agree with. Doesn't mean I want you dead. And if we have ever broke bread together, I certainly don't want you dead. I was really thinking last night, like, have I ever celebrated someone's death? Like, woohoo, they deserve to die. Now I have understood people in a lifestyle. My oldest uncle, not the one that died or was murdered in 2023, but my oldest uncle was killed. It's been 22 years. He was addicted to drugs. He was in that lifestyle. When he died, I remember my grandmother saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. It was just understanding that that was the lifestyle he was in. And that's one of the things that came from it. When it comes to celebrating a death, I will say that I was robbed. I think it was 1994. I can't remember. I was robbed at gunpoint. Me and my friends, somebody knocked on the door, came in. I was there braiding her hair, completely innocent. I worked hard for my check. Was robbed at gunpoint. Sometime later, the guy that robbed us was killed. I wasn't sad. Now, that's me being completely honest. I wasn't sad. So I'm not saying people have to be sad. You didn't like Charlie Kirk, that's fine. You don't got to be sad. But to be celebrating is demonic. To know me and know what I stand on, what I believe in, and the fact that I go out state to state doing the very same thing, and to be cheering is some bitch shit. And I don't fool with that. To know my children need, and somebody may say, because somebody did say, what do you mean you never thought this could happen to you? Well, what do you mean you thought this could never happen to you? That's why y'all have security, right? I don't know if he sounded like that because it was, written, but that's how you sounded stupid to me. So that's how I heard it. You have security, as I said, because people are emotional and irrational at times. But you don't think somebody's going to really shoot you and want you dead. Now, however, I understand that y'all are a lot more evil than I thought you were. And this whole, well, it's evil on both sides, suck it. Because I have never seen or heard about any of y'all in y'all Kamala t-shirts. I know people who have some. I've never heard about y'all saying, you know, I wore my Kamala shirt and somebody tried to argue with me about it. Somebody told me I was stupid for wearing it. Somebody called me a coon because I had on my Kamala shirt. I had some Obama socks. Guilty. I had an Obama shirt and some socks. Do you know I wore them and never heard one word of hate? Yes, y'all, I voted for Obama. We talked about that. Keep up. Come to where I am now. Never heard a word of hate. But I can go somewhere in this hat. You would think this hat had a rifle on it or a noose. You would think this hat had the ability to just throw a noose out and hang people right where they stand. The stares, the ridicule, being called stupid, the middle fingers, the trying to fight. Are you black? Are you a black woman? I've never seen y'all have to deal with that for wearing your Kamala supportive gear. Everybody I know that I'm cool with, they were Chucks and Pearls. Chucks and Pearls. Chucks and Pearls. Everybody was Chucks and Pearls. You know, I never wanted them dead because they were Chucks and Pearls. I never wanted them dead, even though they supported the killing of babies in the womb. I never wanted them dead. They want to take guns, and I never wanted them dead. Well, before you take mine, let me use it. No, it was never that. So this stuff is out of control. We saw what happened to Charlie Kirk. We know they tried to do it to President Trump. We've seen violence and threats, but the temperature is rising. And yes, I know somebody attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband. So I'm saying the temperature is rising and it needs to stop. We're talking about everyday citizens. Okay, I'm going to put President Trump, let me take him out of the equation because we've seen presidents assassinated or attempted assassinations on presidents or people in office before. Let me bring this to just plain old citizens. No political office. We hold no political office. The only power that we have is in our tongues. The ability to speak a message and that maybe somebody will hear. Having this type of behavior towards one another, just as regular citizens, I can toot the horn at you on the street. Hey girl, hey, how you doing? This type of hate, something's wrong with that. It's insanity, it's demonic, whatever you want to put on it, but it's dangerous. And again, I'm telling y'all, if you have dehumanized me, because that's the problem, we're dehumanizing each other. So they feel like if they can dehumanize us, it's okay to kill us. Well, that's how they do black men. They dehumanize. I'm saying across the board. When you dehumanize people, that's dangerous. Learn how to disagree without wanting to see somebody dead. Learn how to disagree and fight with your words without wanting to see someone die, to see a child being without a father or a mother. Learn how to battle with your words. And this is across the board. Conflict resolution skills are out the window across the board. Y'all, you can't battle with your words. Your brain's not moving fast enough for you to have thought and know what you want to say. You just mad. We're going to fight. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to beat your ass. I know we was only arguing about politics at first, but I'm finna beat your ass. This is where we are. The supreme species of the planet. This is where we are. Because it's looking like y'all have the thought process of a jellyfish. The supreme species of the planet. No conflict resolution skills. But I saw them celebrating. I get so sick of the whataboutisms. As my mama would say, if your friends go jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off the bridge too? I can tell some of y'all won't raise right at all. You got too many whataboutisms. You got too many, but they did it. They said it. You got too many of those. You won't raise right. I could tell. You was in timeout too much. Or not enough, whatever. But you weren't raised right. I can tell how many of y'all threw a fit because you didn't get a candy bar in the grocery store and that was cool. I could tell how many of you dressed yourselves what was in underwear and boots leaving the house because that's what you wanted to wear. In a strapless dress in December on the East Coast. We know it's cold. Just won't raise right. Missing fathers in the home. Mama working 12 hours. We can tell. Ain't set for a week of vacation Bible school in your entire life. We can tell. Just ignorant for no reason. Y'all not tired of the whole usual suspects? We got to do better, because this is why I'm saying America is at a 911 again, an emergency. This is an emergency. It's not by coincidence we are here today. The state of America we're at an emergency, and not just politically. We're talking about spiritually, emotionally, culturally. I don't know how anybody in their right mind, any black person, can form their mouth to say, ugh, it look like white on white crime to me, because somebody's still gonna die in the black community in greater numbers. The number is greater. So while you sitting here thinking you owning somebody, talking about white on white violence, let's talk about the white on white violence. Black people still dying at a higher rate by the hands or at the hands of each other. So you're not owning anybody. You're looking like you rode the short bus. You ain't owning nobody. So if this killer comes out, he's white as snow, Snow White. Black people are still dying at a greater rate. So you ain't got no room to be like, oh, we need to look at the white on white violence. Our communities are still being decimated by bullshit. And that's just a fact. The whataboutisms not gonna keep Tyrone and Lil Fat Draws from beefing over neighborhoods that they don't own. And I don't know about y'all, but when I was in school, when I was young, every now and then we had somebody to die, and it wasn't many. And I'm talking about like a car accident. These young kids now are losing friends left and right. Every time I turn around, somebody young is dying. And this isn't for me. Well, we got to get rid of the gun. The gun's been here. They had guns when I was young. What has changed are our values. What have changed is the family structure. That's what's changed. So we're at a crisis. This is 911. This is an emergency. And if you don't see it, maybe you're just too far gone. I want to thank y'all all for being here. I can't say hello to everybody today. Thank you, Lotus Flower, for the prayers. Please be careful while you're out there. I try. I appreciate y'all coming in. My call to action today is, after this emergency, we need to come together the same way people did for 9/11. And remember what truly matters: life, faith, family, freedom. We got to come together. and realize exactly who or what the enemy is. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Flesh and blood, that's not the enemy. It's the principalities, the powers, the spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we're wrestling against. Read your Bibles. I ain't got mine right now, but it's in there. Something like that somewhere. We can never accept violence. And I'm trying real hard not to blow my nose on camera. Sorry. Well, get we don't have to agree, y'all, but you do need to respect life. We need to not be dehumanizing people and therefore feeling like, oh, well, they deserved it. It's one thing to understand that somebody put themselves in a certain place to have to face certain consequences. It's something totally different to feel like they deserved it. I don't know a perfect person walking around who can sit up on their high horse and feel like somebody deserved it. We all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. And if we really look close, if that's the standard, all of us might deserve some karma. I was watching a show, Animal Kingdom. They will always say, may we always get what we want, but never what we deserve. If we really, for real, got held under a microscope, a lot of us would be looked at like we don't deserve the grace and the good life and the love and the happiness that we experience on a daily basis. We all have sinned. Each of us has a role to play. Guard your words. Don't fuel hate. Don't dehumanize your neighbor. And refuse to see political opponents as people who need to die. And I wasn't just ranting. I was ranting, but I won't. I'm serious. If you know me personally and you are online with this foolishness, don't call me. Don't reach out to me. Don't be grinning in my kid's face, my mama face, my man face, my grandma face. Don't do it. Unless your first words are, I apologize. I was wrong. I was silly. I was being illogical. I was being irrational. I didn't think about it that way. I was following the crowd. Unless there's some accountability to your actions, I am so serious. Don't just think you about to ease up under me. And I may not know today, but there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. If you are this insane, I don't want any parts of you. If you are this illogical, deuces, I don't got time. 24 years after 9/11, here we are at 9/11 again as a nation. The question is, how will we answer the call? With more division, more violence, or will we choose to answer it with humanity? Yesterday, I said I'm so disappointed in humanity. But that's how we need to answer the call, with humanity, with courage, and with the kind of unity that reminds us what matters most. I know where I stand. I stand for life. I stand for life. I stand for freedom. And I stand for being able to disagree without destroying. I'll disagree all day long. Wanting you to die because I disagree? That's crazy. Some of y'all need a heart change. Ask God to give you a clean heart and renew a right spirit within you. Because what you're showing, these not clean hearts. They're not right spirits. And for those of you who grew up in the church with me, this ain't no clean heart or a right spirit. If you're celebrating anybody's death, again, to acknowledge that someone was in a lifestyle, I told you, I watched my grandma say, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. She was acknowledging that my uncle was in that lifestyle. And she had to accept the consequences that came with that. To say that, but that's one thing. Feeling like somebody deserved to die and celebrating it is something totally different. Y'all got to learn how to understand the difference, see the difference. But when you're just looking through glasses of hate, you can't do it. You're looking through glasses of he racist, she racist, he a white supremacist, she a white supremacist, he hateful, he black, he low IQ, he black, he an animal, he black. When you just looking through the lens, you can't see straight. Ask God to give you some new eyes, a clean heart, and renew a right spirit within you. This is an emergency. It's 911. How y'all gonna answer the call? Want to let the head shakers know we won't be doing the conversation tomorrow with me and Lotus Flower. We are going to reschedule that for one day next week. Y'all off tomorrow. We done had enough go on this week to be shaking our heads all the way until Monday. So unless there's something that pops up tomorrow, no shaking my head tomorrow. I shake it any harder, it's gonna roll onto the ground. Because what I'm seeing is just. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me today. I will see you all on Monday. I love you. And remember, it's 911. It's an emergency. How you gonna answer the call?